Welcome to the show. At the Prebbleton Rugby Club this morning in Christchurch, NZRU Chairman Mike Eagles named the 32-man All Black squad for the forthcoming Air New Zealand European Tour. Among the players, two new All Blacks. Dane Coles in the forwards picks up the third hooking berth. Lots of talk about the Ali Williams selection at lock later in the press conference. Sam Cane retains the backup position for Richie McCaw in the forwards, and Adam Thompson remains in the mix despite having some doubt about his playing future here in New Zealand beyond the tour. Tawera Kurbalo in the backs is the other debutant, backing up Aaron Smith, and Peruwipu retains his place, if only just. Barrett, Carter and Cruden are the first fives, and in the outside backs, a wealth of talent that can play both fullback and wing, which means no room for the promising Charles Piutau. Let's see what the selection panel had to say about their squad.
Yeah, firstly, let me congratulate Dane Coles and Tawera Kurbalo. It's a special moment for both those young men. In talking about the selection of the team, clearly there's been 29 players we've used already this season. In fact, 30 if you include Ali in the June series. And there's been a reward for how the team's played and how the individuals have played within that team, with those 29 people being played. Obviously there's been a lot of debate about the fourth lock. It's a selection that the three of us spent a lot of time discussing, but came down to the same conclusions that we came to in June. We've got a 75 Test veteran. Yes, he hasn't played a lot of rugby because of injury, but we know that he's got the mental capacity to do the job on the field. He brings with him a huge amount of experience, which we know he's good at assisting the young guys, so Retallick and Romano will benefit from that, and hence why he's been selected. Barlow selected because he was the in-form third halfback in the tournament. He allows us to bring some more young blood into the black jersey, and along with Dane Coles, I think that makes 9 for the year. And by anyone's imagination, that's quite a few. And this tour is all about us continuing to develop those 9 young men and make them feel more and more comfortable in their quest to become great All Blacks. Dane Coles has got the opportunity. Again, it came down to a 2-horse race between him and Hicker. We know a lot about Hicker. The door's not closed on his opportunities in the future, but we do need to find out a little bit more about Dane Coles, so hence his selection. The tour gives us an opportunity to continue our development as a team. Clearly, we've still got 2 key goals, and that's to win the games. And so therefore, that's about our challenges against the opposition we play. And the other challenge is a continuing one for us is to be a side that can perform to its best week in, week out. And we've just seen an example of not being able to do that to the highest level against Australia. So it's an ongoing challenge for not only this team but for all sports people, we think, and it's one, if we can conquer it, we'll become a very, very, very successful side. One other thing that I want to get out in the public early and get some understanding is around the first 2 Test matches. We play Scotland on the Sunday, we then play Italy the following Saturday. It's a 6-day turnaround with quite a lot of travel in between. So therefore, we will be selecting or using all the players in those first 2 games through necessity, and the message the players will be getting is the top 22 informed players will then be selected against Wales. And then we'll select again for the English match on form, and again look to pick the best 22 players that we can. As I say, the selection had a lot of robust to it. It's been great. My 2 colleagues have certainly made it interesting. We've had a plan that we wanted to introduce some new blood. But at the same time, we've stuck with that experience as well, because we know that formula's worked very, very well for us through the year. Not really. He's the best person on merit for his selection, so he was selected. No different than numerous other players that we could name that are possibly leaving. And in fact, there's probably more certainty about their leaving than his. We don't know what he's doing, and he doesn't at this point. So our job is to pick the best people we can, so we've done that. Now, we don't want to lose any players overseas. We want to create an environment where everyone wants to stay. But in saying that, he's played a lot of rugby over the years and played, a long time for the Highlanders, probably as their key go-to man, and perhaps his body's telling him it's time to maybe go somewhere else. So we'll support him in whatever he does. But in the meantime, we know he's in good form. We've seen him playing well for Otago, and he'll get his opportunity on the end of the tour and perhaps play quite a lot of rugby. Yeah, there's a number of players entered into the discussion, and George was one of those people. So he's just got to keep knocking at the door, and his opportunity will come, I'm sure.
He's a talented young man with a big future. But we've had guys who filled the 15 jersey particularly well for us during the year. Israel is the established guy, and Ben Smith's the next. And look, Tamati can play there, and Corey can play there too. So we've got 15 well covered. So, Charles displayed his talent in the ITM Cup. He'll get an opportunity next year in Super Rugby, which is several steps up, and so we'll be monitoring him closely.
No, he couldn't have, and he's played particularly well in the ITM Cup. And I've spoken to him personally, and he knows that the door's not shut for him. And he's shown us that he's got the grit and the determination to want to be there. So he's just got to take that form into Super 15 next year, and if he does that, then he's going to be in contention with a number of other people. Well, I guess they found bringing a player in who didn't know their calls. Halfback's a pretty pivotal position. They probably thought that it was better for the team to use the guy they had. I don't know, you'd have to ask Auckland why they didn't want to use him. Well, Matt Todd's, he was very close to becoming an All Black last year with Richie's foot, no doubt about that. But this year we've looked at a guy called Sam Kane and given him an opportunity, and he's taken it with both hands. And Richie's foot's fine, he hasn't missed any games, touch wood. And Sam's the next guy off the rank. So, Matty's just got to be patient, keep doing what he's doing, and again, opportunity may arise for him to get the opportunity to play. It's becoming a very contested position. You've got a young guy by the name of Severe and Wellington playing particularly well. You've got Latimer playing very well for the Chiefs. So there's a number of guys who, and Braid, played his 100th game the other night. There's a lot of players that have risen to the challenge of that position and playing well. So he's just one of them. You can only pick 32 for this tour, and it'd be nice to be able to take 35, 36, but you'd only be taking them, a lot of them, just for the sake of taking them, and we didn't want to do that. We want to give everyone an opportunity to get some game time, so hence the 32.